Hey guys, it's me and welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be reading 2 spooky stories. So, yes, I haven't uploaded in a while. Weather issues happened that are completely out of my control, and I was going to upload on Halloween. I just completely forgot about it. So, in the spirits of Halloween, I'm going to be reading some stories for you guys. These stories are super long, just keep that in mind. So I'm only be reading 2 for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy. I'm not like a professional reader, I'm not like a reading teacher, so I'm not like Slippergun, but I hope you guys do enjoy. And if you don't mind, please give a big thumbs up and subscribe, and yeah, let's get into it. This one's called The First Floor Problems. I lived in the suburbs of Atlanta that was generally considered a safe place to live. When I was 18, I had always lived on my own in various apartments. This was my first ground floor apartment, and I remember talking to my mom about it and receiving warnings about added danger of living on this ground floor. Sorry, I keep messing up. I shrugged it off because the excitement of not lugging 4 pounds of kitty litter and groceries up 3 flights of stairs was enough to offset a potential of any danger. Sorry, I keep messing up. That's okay. We're just gonna continue on. I had a really good day job, but I loved to party, so I thought getting a second job at night at the local pub as a bar back was a good idea. I got to hang out with friends at my favorite location, free drinks, friends, no brainer. After my second night on the job, I went home around 1:30, flopped on the bed, and went right to sleep. At some point in the night, I woke up hearing my cat meowing and felt a presence in the room and on my body. I turned my head to the left, and there was a man kneeling beside me at the bed. I began failing. By this time, my cat was meowing, screaming, and the man turned around, ran out of my room. I jumped up out of my bed to run to the phone, after the guy, to a friend. I don't know where, but I started to run. And when I did, all of my clothes fell off of me. And I was there naked. Sorry. After getting over the initial shock, I went to the living room and saw the patio door open, where he must have run out of. Maybe got in also. My cat was walking in circles, painting, meowing. She was just such a shock as I was. I went back to the room, still naked, saw my kitchen chairs on the floor, looked at my clothing. This person was next to my bed, cutting my clothes off of me while I slept. Oh my God. I called the police. They came out, investigated, and take a report. The CSI folks were there dusting for prints. They brought a canine. It was so surreal. I went to jail and looked at lineups, saw the back of the police car to have follow-up interviews, and looked at pictures. But I couldn't identify the the perpetrator. I never forget the dark polo shirt, the backwards cap he wore, but his face was a blur. Shortly after the incident, there was a murder in my building. I got the TF out and moved to the 4th floor of the apartment on the other side of town. Oh my gosh. So, sorry I kept messing up. That's a me bad moment. I've had a very long morning. But, like, that is creepy. Like, I mean, I understand why she wanted a ground floor apartment, but, like, the guy was just sitting there over her bed cutting her clothes off her, so when she stand up, she was naked. That guy is sick, and I feel so bad for her. So which one should I read next? That one's really long. Oh my God. Murdering Beach. This is submitted by an email. I'm on a website called cbell.com. You guys want to check it out? They have 10 creepy stories that would keep you up at night. So if you're watching this at nighttime, I'm so sorry. Back in college, I spent a semester abroad studying in New Zealand. Ooh, that's cool. Over one weekend, some girlfriends and I decided to book an overnight horse trek with a company just outside the city of the South Island. Where was I? Where we all went to school. The company offered an hours long ride to a small secluded beach where we would stay overnight in a tiny cabin and ride it back the next day. Do you guys hear that? No one's in my room. I'm home alone right now. So can you read it? Where we would stay overnight in a tiny cabin and ride back the next day. Our guide led us on an enjoyable trip on the horseback through rolling. Okay. Green hills and some farmland. Oh, okay, sorry. I don't know what that is over there, but there's people working on the roof right there. So I don't know. What the trip of green hills and some farmland, reaching the white and sandy beach, not longer than 200 yards or so, if I remember correctly. Even in the evening, we spent our time riding horses on the sand, and then our guide would take us back to a small cabin which we set from the beach about 100 yards. The surrounding by the beach was huge trees. The cabin was built something like 150 years before this and had no electricity or running water. To finish painting the picture, or either side of the beach, are rocky cliffs. There is an unpaved narrow road ending at the eastern part of the beach, but it doesn't look like it gets used very much. It leads back up into the steep hills that way we came. The guide helps everyone unsaddle and unbreak the horses, brushing them down and leaving them in the pen for the night. After unpacking the dinner, the trek, my bad, company made it for us, starting a fire in the fireplace inside the cabin. The guide takes off back to the horses' farm for the night. Darkness falls, and it's dark. We are practically in the middle of nowhere, isolated beach on a moonless night. That is something like a horror movie from like Jason or something. Holy nuggets. So we sit on the floor around the fire with headlamps, eating our stew, chatting, and playing board games that were left at the cabin. Sounds like a bob at the time. There isn't a lot to do in a dark cabin on a secluded beach, so of course the conversation turns to ghost stories. I really wish I remembered more about the stories that were told, because at the time I myself had none and was creeped out by everyone else's experience. We are in the middle of one girl telling us about knocking on her 2-story bedroom window she used to hear as a kid. When we looked out the window to see headlights on the road on the hill at the east end of the beach. The car continues down the road slowly, pulling onto the sand and stopping. We are freaked out. Is this the guy coming back to check on us? Or is some random person wondering if anyone's staying in this ancient cabin over there? Of course, there is no cell phone service, and I think the only one of us even had a cell phone at the time. Anyway, so we stand motionless at the window of the cabin, watching the car on the beach. After it seems like an eternity, but was in reality probably 5 minutes, the car turns around and drives back up the road. Okay, we think they're gone. Return back to the fireplace. I look above and suddenly horrified to see a painting hung there of the word murder in huge red capital letters, complete with a backwards R. What the heck? For real. Several of us gasped. Was the painting there the whole time? Of course it must have been. The windows of the cabin were not very big, and the sun had already disappeared behind the hills when we had arrived, so the place was dim lit. Plus, we were all sitting on the floor right before this. But what kind of sick joke are these? Horse-drunk people playing on us? We decided to call it a night, but not before a couple of us ventured outside to use the outhouse some ways from the cabin. We all use our headlights as we follow the narrow path. Then we hear a loud rustling in the trees. We drop to the ground. My heart is about to jump out of my chest. And then we hear a snore and realize, oh gee, it's just the horse. It's just the horses, girls, calm down. We are somewhat relieved, but finished our business quickly. On the way back to the cabin, I can't help but notice how restless the horses seem. They aren't eating, they are just standing there, looking the direction where the car had pulled up on the beach. The cabin has 2 rooms. The rooms with the fireplace and a small bedroom with 2 ancient-looking wooden bunk beds. We crawled into our sleeping bags. I'm on the top of the bunk beds, you know. I try to sleep, but my mind is racing. It's pitch black. Every little noise, whether it's the horse shearing, or the wind blowing outside, makes me jump a little. I pull my sleeping bag over my head and eventually doze off. At some point during the night, I jolt awake. I'm covered in sweat but freezing cold, and something is wrong. Very wrong. At first, it was dead quiet, which is unsettling. Then I think I hear something in the next room, like a chair moving across the wooden floor. The way I'm laying, I can see directly through the open doorway into the room with the fireplace. But the fire has gone out, and I can't see a thing. Put my sleeping bag back over my head and wait. I can't hear the noise again, but I don't hear the noise again, but I can't hear the horses outside either. Somehow I've fallen back to sleep. Sometime later, I jolt awake again. It's dead quiet, and I'm sweating, but the room feels it's ice cold. I hear the crackle and pop of the fire in the fireplace. I see the soft glow through the doorway in the next room. But didn't the fire already go out? Something again feels very wrong. In the darkness, I climb down from the top bunk. There's no ladder, so it was not easy. And walk over to my friend sleeping in the other bunk. Sarah, I whispered. Sarah, wake up. Sarah doesn't seem to wake up. I grabbed her shoulder and shake her, but she doesn't seem to wake up. Suddenly I jolt awake again. It's still dark. It's still cold. The same feeling of the dread overcomes me, and I can't tell if I'm awake or dreaming, but I need to check on my friend. Climb down top of the bunk, walk over, shaking Sarah. I said loudly, wake up. Wake up so you can wake me up. My eyes snap open. I'm back in my sleeping bag in the top bunk, but this time I can't move. The air is frigid, but my clothes are soaked with sweat. All I can do is look around with my eyes. I can see a red glowing coming from the next room, and what looks like a seated person in the middle of the room. By the faint light, facing directly into the bedroom. I am absolutely terrified, but completely unable to move or shout to wake up my friends. Then the figure moved onto its hands and knees. I wake up. I'm on top of the bunk bed in my sleeping bag. It's daylight. My friends are up and about getting dressed and packing up their stuff. I'm exhausted. I don't feel like I've slept at all. No one seems to be bothered, despite the weird events of the night before that I know we all experienced, so I don't say anything about it. My nightmares. The guy returns us, and we asked him what was a giant murder painting in the cabin. The beach, he says. It's called Murdering Beach. In the 1800s, white settlers were attacked by I don't know how to pronounce that, I just butchered that, natives on the beach. Eventually, one of the white men had previously stolen from these people. Several settlers were killed, but the conflict ended with slaughter of dozens of their people. He can't explain the tire tracks on the beach. That wasn't him. I don't know the specific region of the cabin or the painting, but I know I probably won't spend another night there again. Alright guys, that was it. I was reading for 17 minutes. I know this video is so long, that's why, because the stories are just so freaking long. They're just so long. So I just hope you guys did enjoy the video. The last one completely creeped me out. Like, the last one was just, oh, that's creepy. She was just constantly in a dream. I think that was a dream. I know, guys, what you guys think? Comment down below if you guys thought it was creepy or not. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.